Vladimir Putin has officially suspended Russia's participation in the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, which is a key Cold War-era nuclear agreement. Marty Zilipetrenko discussed this story earlier with my colleague Jacqueline Vuga.
Well, the INF Treaty, which has been banning land-based missiles with ranges up to 5,500 kilometers since 1988, is falling apart completely. The U.S. and Russia have been doing it step by step, and President Putin has just made another formal one. He actually signed a document which suspends it on the Russian side, but everyone realized it was the beginning of the end of this agreement back in October last year when Donald Trump started bashing that treaty. The U.S. government came up with an ultimatum demanding that Russia stop violating the rules, and Russia said it wasn't violating anything. The tit-for-tat began, and the agreement was doomed.
And is the only problem for the treaty Russia's alleged violations then?
Well, on the one hand, the Donald Trump administration has really been trying to make it seem that Moscow's behavior is the #1 reason. On the other hand, the fact is that the INF Treaty was signed by the leaders of the U.S. and the USSR, and that's why other countries weren't obliged to do anything under the agreement. And in his latest statements, Donald Trump isn't really hiding that he's also pulling out because the likes of China aren't involved in the old agreement.
Decades ago, the United States entered into a treaty with Russia in which we agreed to limit and reduce our missile capability. While we followed the agreement and the rules to the letter, Russia repeatedly violated its terms. We really have no choice. Perhaps we can negotiate a different agreement, adding China and others, or perhaps we can't, in which case we will outspend and out-innovate all others by far.
So as you can see, Mr. Trump is already saying that he's ready to develop new weapons. As I've mentioned again, Russia's been saying all along that Washington is lying, that Moscow's not violating anything. And at some point, they were actually ready to invite experts from abroad to examine the weapons system in Russia. That was a particular concern for the U.S., but that invitation was ignored. In terms of the next steps by the Russian military, Russia's development and deployment of missile systems, Vladimir Putin has made it clear that no initial steps will be made by his country. The only things that he's going to order to be done could only be in response to hostile actions by America and the allies in NATO.
Well, our US partners had to be honest and straightforward with us. They should not have used trumped-up accusations and allegations to unilaterally withdraw from it, like they did in 2002, which they did in an honest way, when they pulled out of the IBM treaty. I felt it was done the wrong way, but at least they did it in a straightforward manner. But how do they act, in fact? They violate everything, then find excuses to put the blame on someone. Russia does not pose a threat to anyone. Any actions we take are retaliatory, that is to say, in defense. We never seek confrontation. We do not want it, especially with a global power like the US.
So again, this signature by Vladimir Putin isn't a surprise at all. It is just a formal move. What we have to watch out for is who deploys or develops what next.